The wife has given me the silent treatment after rejecting me. What is it we do in the red pill? We swap notes. Now, I'm sure people have heard all kinds of different stories about us, but I'm here to give you a glimpse inside the locker room. Here, we're going to discuss the field reports that happened a few years back. Brand new guys who are trying to learn the strategies that we talk about. Who am I? I used to be one of these brand new guys. I, like you, was pretty good at women and relationships, but I wasn't great at it. Hard times hit, things got tough, and it turns out there's nowhere for a man to go nowadays that actually wants him to succeed, to thrive, to get better at what he does and improve his lot in life. So, like most guys, I took it upon myself, found a bunch of guys in the same boat as me, and together we built a set of working strategies based on the experience of hundreds of thousands of men, just like us. Men swapping notes, iron sharpening iron. Welcome to the locker room. My wife has been stressed all week getting ready for midterms, so I've been giving some space each night since she's obviously not in the mood. She would typically finish studying at 11 p.m. and then sit on the couch with me and study flashcards on her phone. Last night, she came downstairs in a good mood. I got her a drink, she left her phone on the table, and she was actually present for the first time this week. She wanted to cuddle for a while, and I started trying to initiate, but then the walls went up. Every time I tried to touch her bare skin, she would swat me away. I maintained frame and said, "It's getting late, I'm going to bed." Then I went upstairs, handled my business, and went to sleep. She slept on the couch all night. Today, she's given me the silent treatment. I'm working hard to keep my frame and to be quiet, or to STFU. In the past, I would have tried to keep cuddling and tried to initiate again, which I think is what she wanted, but I'm sick of that nonsense. Am I on the wrong track here, or did I go Rambo by changing my behavior too abruptly? This is the first time I have actually walked away from her after a rejection. I had a good attitude, but my actions might come across as being butthurt. Before I get started here, there's a few terms that people may not be aware of. First one is butthurt. That is a nice shorthand descriptor that we use when we're describing somebody who looks like they're offended, or that you basically got to somebody. It's a nice, easy way of talking about it. STFU is another term we use, and that just means to be quiet. For most guys, at least when they come to our doorstep, they aren't attractive by default. So when they open their mouths and they say things, it's usually a validation-seeking statement coming out of their mouth. So while first starting on their male action plan, the biggest advice is just to be quiet and say nothing. Sure, you won't make the situation any better by being quiet, but you also won't make it any worse. Frame is the last one here, and it's a very difficult concept to explain. Essentially, it's how steadfast the guy is focused on his own reality or seeing his life story from his own perspective. So this guy said, "It's getting late, I'm going to bed." He definitely came across as butthurt, but then he stormed off upstairs and started pouting like a little girl, and then had sex with himself quietly under the covers. It's very creepy, it's very unattractive, and this is most likely why the wife is acting weird today. It's not attractive behavior, and so she responds to it as if it's not attractive. She sees this as a guy acting like a child. Now, in reality, he should have been gaming her all the time during the week, or at least being playful, especially since he's under perceived stress from the midterms. I don't know about you guys, but anybody who's had a study date with a girl can tell you it tends to be an aphrodisiac. Also note, women play the victim card when times get challenging. They want you to know how stressed they are, how difficult it is, blah, 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 blah. She most likely wasn't studying flashcards on the phone next to Buddy either. She was probably looking for some feelings, to change her mood, finger her phone for a bit, get what she needs. The problem with these beginner field reports is they don't... you can tell where a guy is missing frame. When he reads this, he tells this as if he's narrating his wife's story. And that's not frame. That's being codependent. He's also making a lot of assumptions. I don't know if anybody told you this, but guys aren't mind readers. So when you're saying somebody obviously feels this or is obviously going through that, chances are you don't know. You're also self-sabotaging yourself. If the idea is you want to spend some time conjugally with your wife, heaven forbid that's the case, you shouldn't be sitting here making excuses as to why it's not going to happen. At the same time, he doesn't know how to flirt, be playful, or attractive, while at the same time allowing somebody the space to get the things done in their life. How hard would it have been in this case during any one of these stressful days, during the day, to give a quick little neck rub, kiss on the neck, some sweet words, slowly build that up over time? It's not about making her comfy, it's about showing you can be an escape from this very boring, mundane task. Pretty much the role that her phone filled there. But instead of her fingering her phone, you get the idea. So let's redo this scenario from a red-pilled perspective from a guy who's got his relationship on lock. First things first, when you're describing a field report like this about your own life, it has to be from your own perspective. I have a wife that's stressed all week. That is much better than my wife has been stressed all week because of this. Don't make assumptions about what she's thinking. Don't make any guesses as to her emotional state or what the outcome of something is before you've tried it and screwed it up yourself. Secondly, game isn't something that you turn on like a light switch at the end of the night. Well, you want to go to bed, you want to fool around a bit, click. Hey, do you wanna? That doesn't work. Game isn't a hard thing either. There's multiple aphrodisiacs. Anxiety is a good one, stressors are a good one, fear of missing out is a good one, pre-selection. In this case, from a relationship standpoint, assuming she's good in general, which I'm going to assume this one is good on all fronts, and this is just a small problem. This is where beta behaviors come in handy. A little bit of comfort goes a long way. A small little neck rub, touching the nape of her neck, give her a cup of tea while she's studying. At the same time, having something better to do goes a long way towards your attractiveness. When you're not there, you're filling your time with other activities. At the same time, those other activities show that you have abundance. Even in this case, it's a very slight amount. But the beauty of a relationship over a one-night stand or a plate is that you don't have to be on to the same degree all the time. Being an attractive man with other things to do is usually good enough to keep a low level of passive dread going on without you even being there, or without you having to put extra effort into your relationship. So you do these things. Then at the same time, if you want to fool around at night, most likely that time when you see her fingering her phone is the time that she's going to want to cuddle up to you, be more affectionate. And then all you have to do is set your standards. And you have to do this by consistency over time. It's the same way that you deal with a relationship. It's the same way that you raise children. It's the same way that you train dogs. It's the same way that you set expectations for employees. Basically, all interaction among any social organisms require consistency. So what is consistency in this case? Well, that's fairly straightforward. You just show that you're amicable to all these cuddling type behaviors after sex. Which is true. If you're in touch with your own instincts, your first instinct is to smash. After that, you always have the instinct to cuddle, to snuggle, to be affectionate. They call it pillow talk for a reason, not sofa talk. So in this case, she wants to be cuddled, she wants to have comfort. In your mind, you know that comfort comes after this. So you go, you initiate, because you've already been flirting throughout the day anyway, small little gestures here and there, a little bit of absence. And then at the end of the day, these things will tend to flow much more naturally, or as a girl would put it, they just happen. But they didn't just happen. You had your logistics in order, you have a string of attractive behaviors over the length of time, and then you have the resolve to know that cuddles come after. So this one's fairly straightforward. I'm going to keep this on as a new series. I think people are going to like it. On that note, huge shout out right now. I'm going to give these ones to the Patreon if you guys want to for the cup of a fancy price of coffee. You're going to get early access to these, as well as Patreon Q&As that we do weekly. I think we're up to 2 now. And what we do there is this, but with a more personal touch. So instead of abstract examples to you, which are men who have given field reports years ago, this is about your personal story now and how you address it. It's literally men swapping notes. And as the community gets bigger, other men who have done the same successful things in their life are going to start spreading these notes as well. So you're not just getting things from me, but an entire community of guys that are slowly becoming more and more switched on. But on that note, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.